lineup nila.
Yep, marami kasing approach ang pwedeng gawin na next play. You could either go for a superior team fight, which is what they did with the Alice, Angela, and Claude, or you can disrupt the Ling. Pero naipit sila doon sa 2 picks kasi nga nakita na nila yung Ling and alam nila may last pick pa ang Omega Esports that can answer the 2 picks that they have. So I think the safer route was to go for the team fight. And commendable din naman yung approach nila dito, the Angela and the Alice. Again, your primary concern is that you don't do anything against the Ling and you are inherently countered by the Esmeralda.
So ang tanong dito, can Omega activate once again the KDA machine? Na-miss nating lahat itong Ling ni Mr. H2WO. But can Nexplay go all the way to the late game? And remember, this is one best pick para kay H2WO. By the way, Midnight, before we start, nais ko lang sabihin that Mpl-Ph Season 7 is under the supervision and the regulation of the Games and Amusement Board. So going back, look at this. Heat vintage movements para sa kanyang panggagamol dito sa purple buff.
Yes, actually, ang ganda, no? This is the understanding of Omega Esports. They know that the Angela has leveled up the first skill instead of the second skill. So wala masyadong panghabol kay Pakito. But Rene J joining the fight here makes a little space for the Claude to farm.
Yeah, actually, still maganda pa rin yung kuha doon ni H2WO ng kanyang purple. And talagang I think dito papasok yung veteran movements ng Omega. They know na kapag ang Claude ang nag-jungle, importante sa kanya lahat ng buffs.
Yes,
kailangan mo siyang i-delay ng i-delay. And yun din yung target dito ng NXP. Nagkamali ako, actually, Midnight. Akala ko Claude marksman to. Akala ko Claude side lane to.
Jungle siya.
But we have a Benedetta side lane na mapupunta sa kay Rene J. Midnight, I think favorite mo to. Kumusta yung mga matchups natin? Kumusta yung mga matchups?
I think for next play, you're very happy with the matchups. Medyo surprised din ako, no? Actually, si Rene J naglalaro ng Benedetta and Yawi is actually playing the Baksha instead of the other way around. Pwede kasing si James yung Baksha, Rene J playing the Alice, then Yawi on the Benedetta. But the thing is, they are looking for specific matchups here. They want the Benedetta on the core role against the 1-1.
Definitely. Sabi dito ng OMG, kailangan natin kumalaw. And there you go, first blood for the KDA machine. At dito na ba natin nakikita na back to form na ang Omega dahil nakakamiss yung mga ganong movements nila, yung mga biglaan na lang may first blood.
I think it's too early to say, pero Omega Esports, they still have their mechanics down to their bones. Kasi nakita natin na zinone out lang ng Omega Esports and actually dealing a poke damage into the heroes of NXP. And the job of the Ling is to clean up. Yan lang ang trabaho ni Ling ng early game. Definitely. You don't fully commit without your ultimate. So ang gagawin ng kampi mo is poke, poke, poke. You have the Kagura, you have the Pakito. These two heroes can poke all day.
Midnight, speaking of poke, how important is this? Yes, Rene J getting the revenge kill on the top lane. That's nice. Kasi gold laner yon yung nawala. So pwedeng may mawalang wagon dito para kay Kurt. Pero gusto ko tanongin sa'yo, gaano ngayon ka-importante si Heat sa laban na to? I think siya yung nagsaserve talaga dito bilang scout. Sa OMG, this is vintage OMG.
Yes, this is the playstyle of Heat. He really doesn't clear waves. Ang ginagawa ni Heat sa isang game is nagpo-provide ng vision talaga.
Vision talaga para makagalaw. Sina H2WO dito at mukhang itutuloy-tuloy nila as they are now targeting the orange buff. Pasok na yun dito si Toshi. Ultimate para kay James dito pero wala pa siyang first kill. Habang si H2WO ay nasa liba na ni Exort at H2WO now flying out. Dahil masyadong nag-overextend this time ang OMG. Great movements, pero hindi sila nakanako ng orange. That is a 2-for-1 trade. Attack for 2 heroes na wala si Hayes, na wala din si Heat.
Yeah, it's still a favorable position for Omega Esports. There are 2 stories here in the game. Number 1 is the resource control of NXP. Pinaka-importanting aspect sa kanila dito sa game na to is yung resource nila. They want the farm on the Claude. On the Omega side, you as much as possible, you'd want to take objectives. You have a Ling, you have an Esmeralda, and you have a Kagura. These 3 heroes wants to control objectives. But the thing is, Omega Esports, they have a +1. Kapag nagre-resource control ang NXP, the 1-1 is also free farming. So the late game factor for Omega Esports is actually bigger compared to NXP.
So meron pala silang ganun na, o sige mag-farm ka dyan, pero yung 1-1 namin, free farm naman. So may part na 50-50 trade ang ginagawa dito ng Omega. Yes, hindi nila nakuha yung orange, pero tingnan mo naman, ang daming turret gold na nakuha dito ni Cartesi. Meanwhile, pasok dito si H2WO. Welcome back. Meron masustansya dito. And I think this is going to be the punish. Wow. Nice maneuvers para dito kay H2WO.
Yes.
Onting acrobatics, onting gulat, pero may onting pasok agad ang NXP. Alam nila, ilang beses na nila napanood yun.
Dito mo masasabi na Omega Esports, sila pa rin ang isa sa pinaka-mechanically gifted na team. They know that the only job of these heroes is to poke. Nakita natin kanina si H2WO, talagang binalagbag lang ni Haze at ni Heat. Once nakita nila nakalahati nilang buhay, even if the Angela jumps on the Claude, ang trabaho ni H2WO is to clean up. And the story of the game is kapag may nangyayaring teamfight, I call this 60-40, kahit mapatay nila si Ling, NXP is just getting 40% because 1-1 is still farming.
Yes, ito pa rin ang pinaka-main dilemma ng NXP, si Kurt TZ. Fun fact lang pare, fan si Kurt TZ ng 1D. Parehas kami. Yeah, shoutout pala kay Kurt. And yun nga, nagpa-farm lang siya dito. Kailangan ng gumalaw ng NXP.
Yes.
Kaibigang Midnight. Yeah, nawala dito si GZ. Pero again, tama ka no? It's all about the side lanes right now.
Yep.
Probably yung jungle, 40% na problema mo yun eh.
Oo. Again, every move that NXP makes, it has to make sense. It has to be focused on resource control or controlling the map. But Omega Esports, they are the ones dictating the early game pressure, the early game momentum dahil nasa kanila ang objective taking. Remember, you have a late game lineup on the side of NXP. So Omega Esports, they control or they rule the early game. If the team fight leads to both jungle kills, it does favor Omega because they still have a 1-1 on the side lane.
Sobrang tama ka, no, Midnight. Kasi I think pressured ang OMG dito to finish the game early. Meanwhile, depensa muna para sa NXP. And this is risky. Look at that. Exort pumasok ngayon dito. Turn easy with the second skill out. Tapos si Exort na maiiwan dito. Exort with the flicker. Pasok si H2O dito with the blazing duet. This time, Yawi is here. H2 nandito na din. May onting bawi. Habang si Hajizi ay atakin yan si Exort. Hajizi will just go for the flinch ploys out. Meanwhile, Toshi naman ang magpa-farm dito sa gitna as James is also farming the bottom side. It's all about the aggressive movements ngayon ng OMG. Depensang Marino sa NXP. Sinong nananalo sa trade ngayon, Midnight?
I think for that last trade, it was NXP. Even though napatay si Rene J, they still got what they came for. And maganda yung maganda actually yung response nila. You don't let Omega take anything for free. If napatay si Rene J and napunta yung kill kay 1-1, as much as possible for NXP, you need to find a trade. And they got it. Nakakuha sila na isang kill. And Hajizi, he went on the backlines. I don't actually agree with the play. Instead of going for H2, he went for Exort, which was not the best trades. So kaya ako nasabi na NXP yung panalo doon kasi nakakuha ng kill si H2O and Omega Esports, they didn't take any objectives out of that skirmish.
Yeah, but I think ang pinaka pwedeng objective lang na nakuha dito ng Omega ay mid lane.
Yes.
Pero nabawi rin kasi ng NXP sa bottom lane.
Yep.
So,
may trade.
May part na nag-50... nag 60-40, and yes, H2O, nakita natin ngayon yung damage na ginawa dito ng kanya blazing duet na actually pare Demon Hunter Sword na siya.
Yes.
And we know na talagang delikado yon kapag ikaw ang isang Claude. And this time, they're going for the turtle. Makuha dito ni H2O as OMG will just back off.
Yes, and this is where you start seeing the shift on the momentum here. NXP now has the items and the levels that they need. Remember, sinabi natin kanina, they are the superior team fighters. This is because of the presence of the Angela and the Alice. Omega Esports are now playing the split push game. You have a Ling, you have an Alice, you have an Esmeralda, and you have a 1-1. Yeah. Sila naman yung nagre-resource control ngayon, and NXP are the ones dictating the objectives. This is where you start shifting the power spikes. Si Claude, may teamfight yan. Si Alice, may teamfight yan. Benedetta, may teamfight yan. As much as possible, don't let Omega Esports split push and take the fight into Omega.
So, ibig sabihin dito, Midnight, ang pressure ngayon sa NXP is that wag nilang hayaan na Omega ang magdidikta. Wag nilang hayaan na Omega magsiset ng tempo. Dapat sila na.
Sila na ngayon.
Kasi may damage na sila eh.
Yes.
Umabot na sila sa power spike na may damage siya yung blazing duet. Halos lahat. Pero ngayon, Midnight, alam na ata ng Omega, gagawa sila ng play dito sa baba. There you go. Haze, napakatagal para mapatumpa dito si James.
Haji?
James surviving!
Oh, wow.
Wow, instant, ultimate lang. Kamuntikan pa. Field attempt for OMG. Pero kaya nilang patumbahin tong bottom lane.
Top lane though, top lane. Manjin, ito yung sinasabi natin. There's always a trade. Now the Basha is stealing the orange buff of Omega Esports. Medyo actually questionable yung nangyari sa baba, no? Hajizi could have taken out James, but he opted to go for the safer route and went for the tower objectives, which was fine. But then again, NXP, sila naman yung nagdidictate ng pressure ngayon. So Omega didn't really go for the punish on the bottom lane.
Ang hirap din kasi Midnight, I think mayroon din kasing specific na buff pa rin yung Torre.
Oo.
Kasi nakita natin na nag-back agad si
Yep.
Haze. Doon mo makikita dito yung yung mastery ng jungling
Yes.
dito ng OMG. Kung yun yung dating Torre, kung yun yung dating turret,
Dinive na nila dapat
dinive
yun.
na nila ng todo yon. Pero kasi still, mamamatay na si Haze doon eh. Isang
Yeah.
hit na lang siya eh. So yeah, sobrang fortunate noon para kay James dahil nga meron din siyang ultimate. Dahil doon, nagkaroon ng space ang NXP. Midnight pero with a snap, may bawi kagad ng Omega. Tignan mo, dikta kagad sila. Binawi kagad nila yung nawalang top lane nila.
Yes. Methodical approach still for Omega Esports. Every single objective na nakikita nila, basta libre, they will go for it. Curtizy with the Wind of Nature negating the damage output of the Blazing Duet ni H2WO. Medyo ginalawan siya doon. Pogi!
Yeah.
Sikreto ng Pogi.
May onting master movements
Oo.
dito ang si Curtizy pero mukhang delikado yon. Midnight dahil alam na ni H2 na cooldown na dito yung Wind of Nature.
Yes.
So ngayon NXP, they can probably
Of
take
course.
this, but look at this! Curtizy with the place! Oh no, kailangan mo na ata tumakbo dahil papasok si Yawi dito. But
Oh.
Kurt, kumikripok, left, right,
Oh,
right.
that's pro.
Here we go, left, right. Nako, si Yawi na lang mag-isa at ayun na yung
Oh
hard
my
left
God.
movements. Kurt, Daisy, kakabanggit ko lang Midnight.
Oh, H2!
H2 pumasok ngayon, mag-isa si Ajizi, sabi niya binate lang kita. Meanwhile, Ajizi,
Oh, H2!
H2, Blazing Duet. Ajizi, Flinch Voice.
Oh!
Ajizi will survive. Habang si Curtizy, yung main problem ay nandito na ngayon, attacking the orange buff right now. Nalito ngayon yung Omega. Good movement for Curtizy, pero wala silang mapupush this time as Renny J will try to go for the split push. Men, gaano ka-importante yung pitas na yon?
Grabe, eto masasabi ko, labanan ng H-God. Could have definitely taken out the Claude on that tower, pero sabi mo nga kanina man, Jean, medyo nakakatakot kasi yung mga turrets ngayon. So sabi ni Haji, okay, play safe na lang ako and I will not go for the Claude kill. H2 tried to go for the punish but he didn't have the stack with the movement speed from the Art of Thievery. So hindi niya nahabol si Ling and hindi rin siya naabot ni James. Now, Omega Esports has reset the game. They now have full control of the turtle, but remember, they can still take it on the side of NXP. They have a Baksha that destroys the bush control of Omega Esports, gives vision to them, and remember, team fight superior ang NXP.
Team fight talaga at Midnight, umaabot na tayo sa ultra late game. We're now at 11 minutes of this game. This is the same story nung kalaban nila ang Bren Esports.
Yes.
Ganito tumatagal ang NXP. Yes, lumalamang ang kalaban nila early game, pero nakakasabay kasi sila late game. So to the point na napi-50-50 nila, one wrong movement from Omega, NXP can definitely punish them.
Oo, ito ang story nitong team fight na to. Who gets the control on the 1-1? Omega Esports, they still have this pressure na pag nag-proc yung ultimate ni 1-1 dito, yung crossbow of tanks, heroes will melt on the side of NXP. So
Yeah.
they need to keep in mind of the positioning of the 1-1, but it's really hard to do that against a Kagura and the Pakito na lagi nagbibigay ng vision against NXP.
Ang ganda kasi ng zone no? So pressured ngayon ng NXP, hanapin dito si Kurt TZ. They need to be mindful of the wind chant.
Yes.
They need to be mindful of the Kagura's ultimate. Kasi Haze is also doing a great job with the box out na ginagawa nila. Tama ka Midnight. Late game capability, yes, nandito yung part ng NXP. Pero dito na ba papasok yung veteran movements? Dito na ba papasok yung macro control?
Yep.
Kasi I think ang tinitignan natin ngayon, since 50-50 na yung mga items, kung sino na ang makakapag-freeze lane, sino na mauna sa mga bush,
Yep.
pagdating dito sa Lord Take na to.
Alam mo, sobrang bilis mag-farm ni Hajizi. Kanina lang pantay sila ng gold ni Claude. Ngayon, there's a 1,000 gold lead on this Ling. Di ko alam kung saan niya nakuha yan. Actually, wala naman siya nakuha kills for the past few minutes.
Totoo.
But I think it's because of him being able to stop Renegade from split pushing
Pare.
and the map control of Omega Esports na hindi nila hinahayaang makapag-lane si H2WO. For the past 2 minutes, si H2WO, kapag nagpapakita sa isang lane, biniblazing do it niya. But majority of his time is spent on the jungle.
Jungle talaga, no? Dito papasok yung capability ng Link to roam around eh.
Yes.
Nagiging ano siya eh, nagiging, para siyang ano eh, nagiging part na hero na split pusher na lang siya eh. Ngayon, ang dilema ngayon dito ng NXT,
Oh, this is a kill.
pwede na i-bait to ha, let's see ha, blow by blow.
Ayaw.
Renny J playing mind games with the GZ. Alam ngayon ng dalawang kupunan na 4 lang sila sa my Lord Take. Sino ang mauuna dito? NXP ang may retribution. Kurt Easy, kumikripok palapit. Let's see, pero sabi
Haji?
guys, teka lang. Alam nilang 4 yung nasa side ng
Ganda
NXP.
ng bait.
Both of the teams playing mind games with each other
sobra.
Midnight. Tignan natin, James, pasok ngayon. Haze, Nako, tricky situation. Pasok dito si Renny J. Renny J, the bomb!
The punish!
Execute! Oh no, nawala dito si Ace. Pero mukhang si Yawi ata mawawala dito. Nako, nabitin!
Oh,
Damage! Sa paggamit dito ng
the
win shot
win
ni Easy. Pero the win shot is real! Mr. Edgelord! Kurt Tizzy! Grabe, malasaske, pare!
Grabe!
Kamuntikan mawala pero isang pindot lang ng win shot. Pero sabi ni Renny J, ako on the bomb, hahabulin kita. Pero may onting creep walk.
Oh my
Habang
God!
FGC nandito na din. KDA Machine. There you go. May tusok din ako.
Grabe!
4 na heroes ang nawala sa NXP. And look at that replay. Anong nangyari doon, Midnight?
Eto, masasabi ko lang, technical plays by Omega Esports. It started with the bait on the bottom lane. They went for the Rene J after the Lord reset. And after that, alam na nila, okay guys, lahat ng tao ng NXP pupunta sa Lord. Maniwala kayo sa akin. And that is what happened. H2WO thought that it was a free team fight, went for the Blazing Duet, pero hindi nila na-ready yung cooldown ng win shot.
Wow, that instant replay is brought to you by Oppo A94. Experience gaming at full speed with Oppo A94. Get yours now for only $13,999. Instant win shot lang. That was patience.
Yes.
Mula dito kay Kurt Easy, akala natin yun yung perfect Blazing Duet kay H2O. And mind you, H2O is one great Claude player. Alam niya kung kailan ang shoot ng Blazing Duet.
Oo.
Akala natin yun na. Hindi pa pala.
Yep, and Omega Esports, this is where you start seeing the technicalities and the mechanics of these players. Again, Kurt Easy with that win chant play on the 1-1 and Hajizi being present on the entire map. Parang yung pakiramdam ng NXP, hindi nila alam kung saan sila pupunta.
Yeah.
Kasi every single time na kalahati buhay nila, biglang may bumababa sa kanila, binabagsakan sila ng isang link.
Ang nangyayari dito, Midnight, NXP ang laging nagre-react.
Oo.
At umaasa sila na maka-outplay sila. Let's see, dahil mukhang may laban ata nagaganap dito. Onting poke. The Lord is now down. Buhay pa rin dito yung tower. NXP, nadepensahan pa nila. Nice patience para dito sa side ng NXP. Habang yung OMG kukuha na lang ng iba pang objectives. Ang camera ngayon ay tumitingin kay Kurt.
Yep.
Mr. Edgelord. Tignan natin ngayon.
Oh, James!
Oy, pasok
James!
si James dito. Si Kurt ang main target. Let's see. Wala pa rin pasok si Hayes, pero pasok na naman si James! The fake is real!
Oh!
But Kurt, mabubuhay ba siya? Buhay! Si Kurt Easy dito! Renny J magkabol! Kurt Easy! Pero may execute dito si Renny J. Wala na si Kurt this time. 4-on-4 mangyaring laban. Renny J nandito
Oh,
si
the
Exort.
dodge!
Nakaloob sa kanya. Exort, tatakbo. Nag-zoom out yung camera natin. Renny J now tatakbo na din. Meanwhile, si Nate nandito. Walang damage output ng OMG. Pasok si Ace dito with the yin-yang overturn. H2O mapapag-VMI out. Renny J
Bottom
baiting
lane.
someone. Look at Hajizi this time. Hajizi, lilipat pa sa bottom lane dito. Nag-aabang ng hero. Hajizi.
Inaabangan yung top lane.
Men, ang intense
Oh!
nangyari. Pero sabi ni Hajizi, okay, lipat ang camera. Isang sundot. Kuha ang tore.
Basic lang, objectives lang, sabi ng Omega Esports. Di namin kayo hahabulin para sa kill. Kasi again, the story of the game is that we are playing objectives. If we can avoid fights on the side of NXP, we still win the map control.
Yeah, this is again because of the flinch boys. The mechanics na meron, ang isang ling na kayang mang-split, kayang gawin yung mga ganong klaseng movements. How crucial was that team fight para sa dalawang teams, Midnight? James and Renny J, nakita natin yung persistence nila on
Yes.
getting Kurt Easy.
Actually, it could have been better, pero ang ganda rin kasi nung sagot ni Heat. Nung ginamit na ni James yung flicker niya, ang ganda nung gamit ng stacks on the Pakito. Multiple ultimates was targeted onto the Alice, kaya hindi napatay si Kurt Easy. Now, there's gonna be a steal on the purple buff. I don't think NXP could fight this one. Actually, nakuha ata ni H2, and then, hindi nakuha ni H2.
Nakuha ni Hajizi. And eto, dito mo makokomment yung dito mo makokomment ang NXP eh. They really know kung kailan sila magre-rest. They really know kung kailan yung sugal.
Yes.
And sinugal nila yung last team fight na yun eh.
Mhm.
Crucial yun kasi again, kamuntikan pa mabuhay si Kurt. Kung nabuhay si Kurt, kung nakapag-ultimate siya, pwedeng naubos pa sila.
Oo.
Pero Renny J, nireserve niya talaga yung execute. 3 ultimates yung nawala doon. The Electroplinal Blow, yung ultimate ni Alice,
Yep.
pati yung ultimate ni Angela.
Tumalon din eh, di ba?
Tumalon din para lang mapatay si Kurt Easy.
Alam mo, ito yung nagpapahirap kasi sa game ng NXP. They try to go for these fights, and even though they keep on winning them, kasi nga sila yung superior team fighters, you still have to ask your problem as a new, ask the question as a new link. You have a link problem, and there is a map control problem. Because of the presence of the Ling, the Pakito, and the Kagura, these 3 heroes just control the map. Nakikita mo kanina yung laro ni Hayes tsaka ni Heat. They just move around, they control the vision, and hindi sila yung aggressive aggressive fighters na pag nakakita sila ng opportunity, they go for these fights. Because they realize na, okay guys, kalma lang tayo, NXP mas malakas sa fights, if they wanna go in, let them go in. Kasi pwede nating kontrolin yung gera na kapag patalo tayo, let's just have the link split push.
So masasabi ba natin dito, Midnight, na for the win condition of NXP, they really need to force this 5-on-5 Royal Rumble na sa bayan?
Dapat mampatay si Ling. That's
Oo.
the first condition. You need to take down the Ling and the 1-1 at the same time.
At the same
That's
time.
a tall order.
At the same time talaga, no? Ngayon yung OMG, okay lang sa kanila kahit walang isa.
Oo.
Basta't wag sabay,
Yes.
and kaya nila mag-split.
Yep, ito yung dangers na sinasabi natin kanina sa draft. Even though NXP went for the right mindset again, you have the superior team fighter with the Alice and the Angela last pick, but you are still facing the Ling problem. Again, hindi nila masasagot tong Ling na to because of the nature of their draft. Because
Yeah.
if they try to split push with Benedetta, suddenly the 4 heroes that are left
Lugi.
will just lose to the Esmeralda.
Oo, lugi talaga. And again, nabanggit natin dito, they don't have any catch para dito kay Hajizi
Yep.
unless ibuhos ni James yung second skill niya doon.
Oo, unless magkamali si Haji.
Oo, at pwede rin or maduo kasi I think enough ng time yung stun ni Yawi ng Baksha at yung stun ng Alice. I think
Yes.
enough ng time
Enough
na
naman.
yun eh. Enough
Problem
na yun
is, kailangan mahuli mo si Ling nang wala siyang ultimate.
Oo, at
Kasi may
maburst
free,
nyo.
kasi may free pass si Ling eh. That's the very nature of Ling.
Oo.
It's really hard to take him down kapag walang ultimate. So very conditional pag napapatay mo siya. Actually, bottom lane, may nag-1v1 doon. That's the Ling and the Benedetta. This will always happen. The split push of the Benedetta and Hajizi split pushing for Omega Esports. And paulit-ulit yung mangyayari to, the Lord Reset will always happen because Omega Esports, they're looking to split the map.
Magkakasaykuhan na ngayon, Midnight. At dito na ba papasok yung draft na sinasabi natin? Yes, may damage output dito ang NXP. But Omega outplaying them in every way possible. Besides the fact na may escape yung Ling, may second skill din si 1-1 dito.
Oo.
Kaya hindi mo rin basta-basta mahuhuli.
Yep.
And the fact na maganda yung zone dito ni Hayes, ni Heat, and
Grabe.
Detoshi, hirap na hirap ang
Triangle
NXP.
offense man,
Wow.
Jin. Triangle offense, hindi makapasok kaya pumasok si Yawi. This is a Baksha that can do this, but the problem is the overwhelming damage of the Kagura and the Pakito. Mind you, it's just a Pakito tank. Ayan, ire-reset na naman nila. Always look for a potential outplay.
Mababurn siya dito. Pasok si Angela dito, but James is down.
Very methodical.
Wow! OMG! Targeting the right person at the right place at the right time. And ito yung hindi mo pwedeng underestimate sa team na to. Alam nila pag sinabing focus fire sa isang tao, dun talaga sila.
Oo, Manji, nakita mo 'di ba yung bilis, yung urgency ng decision making ng OMG. Nung nakita nila na wala nang buhay si Yawi, immediately reset the Lord. Nung hindi na nila abot si Yawi, okay, ito na lang si James. Focus, 4 heroes were focusing down on the Alice. Now, Renegade is being chased by 4 heroes while Hajizi is getting his farm. Probably split push the bottom lane and mid lane, but OMG still have the control. Now they have taken the Lord, and this will make life harder for NXP because hindi lang si Ling yung problema mo, dadagdag pa si Lord.
Dadagdag si Lord. Lord is at level 2. Pupunta dito sa top lane. This is a 20-minute game right now, Midnight. We're looking at late game items right now. Kapansin-pansin na meron ding blade armor dito si Heat.
Oo.
Just to negate this Claude.
Yep, sasalin lang talaga nila.
Oo. And ito yung dilemma, Midnight eh. Laging mauuna ang Ling kaysa sa Benedetta
Oh,
pagdating
yeah.
sa split. Tama ba?
Definitely. Kasi mas mobile si
Oo.
Ling compared to the Benedetta. Even though mas invasive mas evasive pala si Benedetta, Ling is just a global map presence.
At speaking of map presence, eto na, sabi ng OMG, gera na natin. James now falling low. Mabuhay kaya si James this time.
No.
Mukhang kaya niya mabuhay with the flowing blood pero nawala na rin si Hayes doon sa batang gilid. Napakagandang sagot mula dito sa NXP. Eto na yung sinasabi nating AoE-centric damage output as Hayes is down for a minute. Meanwhile, pasok si Kurt
Kurt!
dito. Kaya na kayo maputumba. Na-reset dito si X-Sword. Kurt, siya na lang mag-isa dito pero ako makakawala pa siya. Nako, H2WO nandito na din. Toshi, buhay pa rin. Ang daming buhay pa rin sa side ng OMG. Wala na rin si Renny J. And I think this is it. OMG. Omega is back. At makakuha sila ng pinakaunang puntos nila dito sa MPL Season 7.
You know, this is still the skill of a world content.
Hybrid lineup para sa akin ng side ng Omega. It's a 50-50 draft.
Honestly, these picks are perfect for both teams. Again, sinabi natin yung Yisun Shin tsaka Harit, yun talaga yung option for Omega. So immediately, pipick mo kagad yun kapag kaya mo. They snatch up the Harit para hindi mo ako na next play. And perfect answer for next play. I think the Kadita and the Kai fits the lineup perfectly. And Kadita counters 4 heroes on the side of Omega with the exception of the Yisun Shin.
Oh man, binanggit natin kanina yung lack of damage na meron sa next play, Midnight. This time, present na yon kapag
Oo.
umabot ng late game with the Kadita. And yes, nag-agree ako, yung Ocean's Oddity, huli kagad yung Harite sa loob ng Zaman Force. Kita mo kagad. Even yung Sylvana, shoot kagad yung Ocean Oddity, tapos mag-grab waves in ka.
Exactly. And I love the Akai pick just to make sure na kapag nag-Zaman Force si Harit, tulak mo lang palayo.
Akala natin it's all over for the draft ng Nexplay doon, pero may onting bawi sila, but they're up against a team Omega na nasa momentum ngayon, na meron again na Natalia ni Heat this time ang gagamit, Midnight. Hindi si Hayes.
Actually, I like this approach. Kanina sa draft iniisip ko whether magme-mage ba yung Sylvana or magtatang, kasi he needs a lot of sustain. Hindi pwedeng catch lang siya rito sa game na to. They need more damage kasi hindi reliable enough yung Harit and YSS sa early game. So if you're able to get that, then suddenly all 5 heroes on your side are threat against NXP. So medyo naiintindihan ko yung switch nila dito, na instead of Hayes playing the Natalia, Hayes is now playing the Sylvana kasi magme-mage build si Sylvana this game.
Yeah, mukhang damage ang gustong gawin dito ng Omega. Tsaka na muna tayo mag-tank build. Tsaka na muna tayo mag-sustain. Kailangan muna natin bigyan ng space ang ating mga core heroes para makakuha tayo ng early game aggression. Dahil Midnight, again, nag-agree ako sa'yo, AoE-centric stunts ang meron ang Nexplay.
Yes.
So talagang kapag umabot late game niya, makagagaya niyan, pwede silang ma-out damage.
Ang aga nung execute ni Heats, and I really love how Hayes is playing the lane against the Kadita as much as possible. Iso-zone mo siya para hindi siya makakuha ng XP. Now he's forced to go back to his base and may mamimiss siyang minion waves dito. So that means unang magle-level 4 si Hayes dito, which will be a big threat. But Heat is now being taken out by the Ling.
At yun ang nagiging dilema kapag meron kang kalaban na isang Natalia. Lalo na't kapag hindi ka agad makakapatay ang Natalia. Yes, may scout kayong makukuha dito, but you don't want to give those kills na meron para sa side ng Nexplay. So may onting kalamangan dito si H2 laban kay H2WO. We're now looking at the matchup dito sa baba. Midnight, Toshi confident enough para gawin yung mga ganong movements.
Grabe yung mechanics, no? Grabe yung mga micro skills. Talagang, ito yung mga type ng players na talagang hirap galawan sa lane nila. Kasi if you have certain moves, alam mong limited lang yung conditions mo para mahuli mo yung ganitong klaseng player. And knowing Toshi, he is one of the hardest players to take down on his lane. So may hirapan din talaga yung NXP contest ng Esmeralda na to.
Ito yung mga tipong kabisado yung limits nung isang hero. Alam niya kung cooldown. Actually, di na tumitingin sa cooldown.
Alam ng daliri niya.
Kabisado na yan. Meanwhile, the first turtle will go in the hands of H2WO. At yun na nga yung sinasabi natin. Imperial Justice para dito kay Hayes. Sino mahuli ngayon? That is going to be Exort na hindi na makakapagpatubig. That is OMG winning that trade, pare. Dalawa na wala sa side ng NXP. Renny J maghabol dito. May heal para kay Curtizy dito. Renny J mapapadash in. Curtizy may Zaman Force pa.
May Kruhan.
May Kruhan. Synchro Vision out. As Renny J masyado ata nag-overstay dito. Heat, meron pa ba siyang execute? Yes, meron.
Dash!
Pero makikita dito si Heat ni Yahweh. Protektado dito si Renny J. Grabe yung laban na to, Midnight.
Ganda nung block, no? Parang labanan ng labanan ng mechanics talaga, no? Pero I love the rotation from Omega Esports. They understand that the team fight for NXP now, this game, is really, really weak. So kapag nag-group up sila, ang tanging punish lang is makakakuha ng further exchange kills ang NXP. But with the presence of Sylvana and Esmeralda on these fights, they have complete control. At dagdag pa natin dyan yung Mountain Shocker, no? Yung vision na pinoprovide ni Yisunshin. It does help out the Natalia on taking out these informations against NXP.
Definitely, Midnight. Actually, para sa side ng NXP, kahit papano, nakakabawi pa rin dito si H2. Kasi looking at H2, he's having this great link game right now. Makakuha siya ng third plating dito, ang taas nun. Tapos nakakuha pa siya ng 2 libreng kills na walang kahit anong contest. So with this, nako!
Grabe si James, ha? Nagpapakita, meron ding pakito skills.
Pumapalag pa rin, kabisado pa rin kung may shields. Dito, ang Esmeralda.
Oh
Meanwhile,
my
eto
God!
na nga yung sinasabi natin grab wave. Zaman Force para dito sa side ng OMG. Mabuhay kaya dito si H2WO. Mukhang hindi na, as Renny J will go for the dash in. Renny J ang mawawala pa rin ngayon. Dalawa mawawala sa OMG. Magandang trade para sa side ng NXP. Wala pa si James doon, but man, nakita mo yung damage. Exort putting in the rough waves damage. Pero may onting pagbawi pa rin ng OMG. So still, both of the teams overextending. talagang hindi pumapayag na hindi ma-even yung trade.
Oo, pero pabor yun for NXP again as you've said. Ganda ng pasok ni Extort no, with the Katita. Now has purchased the Clock of Destiny. So the sustain is there and the damage will be there after 4 minutes. Curtizy, Zaman Force may top lane, may crewhan lang.
Alam mo, Midnight, dito ata papasok yung ano eh, yung kailangan nilang respetuhin yung Ocean's Oddity.
Oh yes.
Masiset-upan talaga sila ng masiset-upan eh.
Yep.
Again, this is a Harit, easy target. Yung lalo-lalo na yung Sylvana.
Oo.
Kasi Sylvana mismo yung gagawa ng target eh.
Alam mo parang, sige, talunan mo ako. Ganun yung Sylvana dyan eh.
Yeah. So, man, ito AOE damage output ang dami sa NXP. Meron silang Hurricane Dance. Meron silang Tempest of Blades. Nangiging delikado ngayon yung OMG. Bakit? Una, hindi na naging effective yung Natalia play nila. And unti-unti sila napipitas. Look at this. Even though lamang ang OMG sa pera, pero yun lang.
Batuhan, Manjin.
Batuhan pala.
Alam mo, mahina walang galit.
Oo, men, gusto ko sana sabihin na lumalamang ang NXP eh. Pero kasi nakakuha din yung OMG dito ng mga crucial pick-ups. Kagain yan.
Grabe, ayaw magpapigil ng Omega Esports, Manjin.
Sabi ng Omega dito, kaya nyo kami 5-on-5, itadaan namin sa mga 2-on-2.
Oo,
Itadaan
mga
namin sa mga
1v1.
1-on-1. Oo.
Sabi nila dito, alam mo, sige, suntokin mo ako sa kaliwa, suntokin din kanan mo. Tapos may bonus pa na sinampal.
Oo. So ngayon Midnight, yes, ang ganda na nagiging game ni H2. Pero yung space yung macro play style nandito sa OMG,
Oh, yeah, tulad yan, na-force out yung ultimate. Alam mo, Manjin, ang question ko talaga ever since nag-start tong game na to, saan nakukuha ni Hajizi yung farm? Nung early game, nakakuha ng 2 kills si H2WO, level 7 siya, level 6 si Hajizi. After a minute, ngayon, tignan mo yung advantage nga. Level 9 sila parehas, pero there was a time na level 8 lang si H2WO, level 9 si Hajizi. Alam mo yung parang magtataka ka, may extra minion bang pinafarm si Hajizi?
Lagi no? Lagi. Well, hindi siya tatawaging KDA machine Kasi kayong KDA, alam ko may onting ano din doon may onting pera at gold na pwede ka
Uy, ganda ng huli kay Kurt.
Pero sa wakas, nakuha yung NXP dito na magandang huli. It's all about the pickoffs right now, Midnight. Para sa game na to. Wala pa tayo masyado nakikitang explosive team fight. Pero you're talking about kanina na itong NXP, yes, nakakuha sila ng lamang. Pero bakit nga ba nanenegate? Dahil lang ba dito sa Natalia pick na to?
Yes, this is the information given by Omega Esports. Of course, syempre, pag gumawa ng galaw yung NXP, there's a certain valuable information that they already see. Tapos papatungan mo pa kung ano man yung nakikita ni Hit. So, Omega Esports, they can always calculate another play. Kapag gumawa ng movement si NXP, laging may katapat yan. And knowing them, they have this methodical approach. Kapag nakakakuha si NXP ng kill, there's always a trade. Now, nakakuha sila ng kill dito kay Hayes. They're eyeing already at the third, pero napakaganda ng pwesto ng NXP. Ready sila.
Tignan natin kung crucial ba yun. Pasok si Exort dito. Ocean's Oddity, Hajizi with the Flood. Zaman Force para dito kay Curtizy. Exort! Mapipilitan siya dito mag-lap waves out. Yung Stone Roamer ay nasa side ng OMG dito kaya di kagad makapasok ng NXP. Ngayon si James ang tinahabol. James, napagamit dito. Wala pa siyang substance. Habang si Toshi magsi-second skill lang. And there you go. Kagaya ng sinabi mo, Midnight, every time na makapita sa NXP, hindi papayag ang OMG na hindi makatrade. They know kung kaya nila pumasok.
Curtizy.
Curtizy with the Zaman Force in. Sabay kuha ng purple. Nasa purple sila agad, Midnight.
Grabe.
Hindi nga sila nag-turtle.
Ito yung sinasabi natin sa OMG, no? Again, methodical, objectives first. Sabi nila, guys, pwede tayo mag-turtle. Pero bakit tayo mag-turtle kung pwede natin kunin yung resources ng NXP? And dito may explain kung saan kinukuha ni Hajizi yung farm niya, no? This is the disparity effect. It causes a huge gold lead with you kasi pina-farm mo yung resource ng kalaban.
At dahil doon, Hajizi with the BOD at meron pang instant turtle. Napakayaman ngayon ng side ng OMG. Look at that. 5K para kay Hajizi dito. Tama ka nga, Midnight. Maging ako nagtataka na saan niya nakukuha tong farm na to. Yes, H2O, may farm siya dito. Pero kasi 2-0-3-6.
Good lane game
Si Hajizi may death
Yes, eto may top lane na si Hit. Mapapatay. Actually, nakuha ni Renege yung kill. Haji hindi makaka-rest back. Pero gusto ko lang i-highlight Manjin si Curtizy on that turtle contention for both teams.
Yeah.
Ang ganda ng ginawa niya. He forced out the ultimate from Exort. And he used the Zaman Force. Saan ka makakita ng Harit na hindi nagtitipid ng Zaman Force? And kinokondisyon yung sarili na, okay guys, counter tayo ng Kadita. 4 sa heroes natin may hihirapan pag hindi niya ginagamit yung ultimate niya. Puwersahin ko.
Puwersahin mo. Pag nawala ng ultimate,
laban tayo.
Pasok tayo. Kasi again, I think yung Zaman Force, mas mabilis yung magiging cooldown nun laban sa Rough Waves.
Yep. Kaya ang ganda nung ideology behind as to why he commits the Zaman Force. Talagang alam mo kung ano yung pinaforce niya. Ganda nung huli ni Yawi actually. Hajizi caught out here by the Akai. And Ling, 3-0-4 na si H2WO.
This is vintage Xiaowi at ito yung hinahanap kanina pa ng NXP, yung mga pa-isa-isang pitas lang. Anong bawi ngayon sa side ng OMG? Nako, may chance dito. Nice knock para kay James dito. Nawala si Curtizy. Tatlo na lang na sa side ng OMG. Yawi buhay pa din. Hit, hindi niya na magamit yung execute niya. James with a beautiful champ stance uppercut para dito kay Curtizy. Nawala ngayon yung 2 main cores ng OMG. Ito na ba ang chance ng NXP?
Oh my God, look at this Paquito! Ginawa niya kay Curtizy kanina, and Hayes is feeling the same thing. Ang ganda nung ginagawa ni James. Naka-purify sa Curtizy, mind you. Pwede niyang tanggalin yung knock-up ni Paquito. Pero ang ganda kasi nung spacing. After the first ultimate, uses the second skill to dash in, and hinintay niya yung purify bago niya in-ultimate na ulit. And this is the perfect or flawless execution from James on this Paquito.
Man, James 0-3 siya dito, pero he's making the plays
Oh
para sa
my
Nexplay
God.
dito. Unti-unting nagpo-pull up aside ng OMG. Hindi lang si James, pati si Yawi. Pinag-usapan natin ito kanina, midnight na marami silang catch. Meanwhile, sabi dito na Curtizy, ito na, babawi na kami. H2WO, pasok ngayon. Ultimate Empress of Blades, mawawala ba si HGC dito? HGC na wala na din. Toshi, inatake nila yung orange one dito. Habang si Curtizy, tumatakbo pa rin. Toshi nasa depensa. Final blow para kay Renny J dito. Dash in. And Renny J will go for that kill. Pero tatlo ang nawala sa side ng, apat ang nawala sa side ng OMG. Toshi na lang ang natitira dito. Nandito pa rin si H2. Walang retribution. But midnight, pinag-usapan natin kanina yung mga catch ng NXP at nakikita natin yun ngayon.
Alam mo, Manjin, sobrang commendable ni James this game. Sinabi mo na 0-3-7 si James on this Paquito, but he has been flawless with the execution and initiation for NXP. Following it up with the teammates that he has. Again, Omega Esports dito, they need to force out the ultimate from Exort. Pero sabi ni James dito, naisa nyo na kami kanina. Hindi na mauna si Exort. Ako na.
Ako na mauuna. Alam mo pare, meron pa silang plan B eh. If ever na hindi tumama kasi dito yung ultimate ni James, ang ginagawa nilang plan B, si Yawi,
si Akai.
Nakakadalawang hurricane dance na siya na maganda. And yung hurricane dance niya, hindi panguli ng dalawa, tatlo eh.
Yes, bawal isa lang. Bawal isa lang.
Ay, bawal dalawa, laging isa.
Bawal dalawa. Dapat kahit sino actually, kahit sino makita nila, tinatalo ng kagad ni Yawi. And it goes to show na alam din kasi ng NXP na kapag naka--1 sila sa Omega Esports, it does give them the favorable position. Yeah. Tulad ito, kapag kulang sa numbers ang Omega Esports, they fight. Oh my goodness!
Oh, pero masyadong malalim doon para kay H2WO. Maganda position ngayon ng side ng OMG. Renny J babalik dito. James nandito pa rin. Pero sino masya-shutdown dito? That is the Kadita. Oh no! Nakay Toshi ang camera. Bakit pa di nyo ako pinag-uusapan? Ako ang Esmeralda at hindi ako napapatay. HGC ngayon, pulado. Pero sabi ni Toshi, eto na. Iwag natin ang tela. Naku, umikot din si Yawi. Sabi niya ako din, may paikot-ikot. Pero sabi ni Toshi dito, pindot-pindot lang ng second skill. First skill, second skill lang. Sabi naman dito ni Curtizy, ako din. Ako marami ako pinipindot. Pero sabi ni Toshi, isa lang ang pipindutin ko. Second skill lang. Toshi, ladies and gentlemen, MVP kanina, the silent assassin for OMG. Inubos yung 4.
Oo, grabe. Sabi ni Toshi, alam nyo, kung kayo live sumasayaw, ako kay Esmeralda ako sasayaw. Sasayawan ko yung 4. Toshi, again, these kinds of players, alam nila yung limit ng heroes. And nakita niya kanina, sabi niya, Akay lang pala, tsaka Paquito. Wala kayong gagawin sa akin.
Grabe, tsaka binibit niya yung Rap Waves. Yung Ocean's Oddity, hindi mo kagad
magamit.
Oo, yung Esmeralda kasi mabilis dahil doon sa Frost Moon Shield eh.
Yes. Actually, hindi lang second skill yung pinipindot, pati first skill.
Pero,
ang maganda kasi doon is, yun lang yung kailangan niyang gawin. Basic lang.
Kaya favorite ka ng Esmeralda eh.
Sayaw-sayaw lang eh, no?
Oo, sayaw-sayaw ka lang eh. Hindi natin napapansin dito.
Hit!
Look at this. Toshi, pumasok dito yung kanyang ultimate. Pero look at this. Humaharap siya sa 4. Humaharap siya sa 4 dito.
Men,
and ganun siya katapang ngayon. Ganun ka-confident si Toshi, pare.
Alam mo, Manjin, feeling ko ang comms ng Omega Esports ngayon ganito. Sinasabi lang ni Toshi, pre, walang damage, pre.
Oo nga
Pre, walang damage, pre.
Grabe, I mean, etong Esmeralda, ilang beses na na-nerf to. Kung ito yung old school Esmeralda, ilang beses natin nakita na pumuti itong buhay ni Toshi. And laging nasa half health. Kapag nasa half health kasi may threshold na eh.
Yep.
Hindi na madadagdagan. Pero look at this tumabla na yung pera ni Toshi kay HGC. Yes, si H2 pinakamayaman ngayon. But I think NXP, what they need to do right now is to target the Esmeralda. Kailangan nila mapitas.
One big problem that they have is, yun na nga ang kailangan nilang gawin is, oh my goodness, na-force out! Yung ultimate ni Ling. And now, the chance to take out the Esmeralda is finally gone. So, Omega Esports, they can actually fight this one out. Pero Renny J going outside the base.
Oh no, alam na to ng side ng OMG. And NXP, they're falling apart. 44 seconds down si Rene J dito. OMG just showing to us kung bakit sila ang representatives ng Pilipinas sa M2. And here we go. Zaman Force para dito kay Curtizy. Napakagandang naka para kay James dito. Pero look at this. Curtizy dancing with the stars. Dancing the night away.
Yan si
Curtizy
Toshi.
mawawala ngayon. Toshi nandito na naman. Naku po. Hindi pa rin siya talaga
Exort!
damage dito pare. Exort ang magiging main target dito. Napagandang winter truncheon para kay Hayes. Pero sabi ni GC, tapusin na natin ang gera. It's time to
Oh
end it.
my goodness!
2-0. Omega defeating NXB and staying on top.
Wow, Manjin, I thought this series would have been really favorable for